Hi, good morning. Welcome back to Uplift Trade. Today is Thursday, September 11. It is almost 9 o'clock in the morning. The weekend is coming near. I hope you guys are ready to extract some cash from the markets. That's what I'm going to attempt to do today. And the way I look at the market for this trading session, at least half of the day, is the following. So if I look on the 4 hour, yesterday we had the breakthrough above the most recent swing high in the lower low, lower high pattern. So officially the downtrend on the 4 hours since the peak made on August 14 is over. It doesn't mean that now it's going to be uptrend only. It can be consolidating, ranging, but that downtrend is over. Now, if I look at the 10 minutes, providing some insights as a potential range information, especially the absence of volume. There is no volume whatsoever. There was volume on the way up, but then price made a new high. RSI failed to make a new high for the third consecutive time. If you look here, we make a new high on the price. Look at where the RSI is. Look at this one here, new high on the price. Look at where the RSI, it's lower than previously. And this one, again, a new high. But look at where is the RSI. So to me, that's a telltale sign that the momentum behind the grind up is seriously fading away. It doesn't mean that it's like flipping towards a downtrend, but the momentum is just not there. And on the 5 minutes, it's even more visible. And I like the fact that price is now back in the below the high boundary of the range. That gives me an opportunity to enter short on this particular price action. So a quarter of a contract will be placed as a short. I will be aiming for starters, the mid-range. It's around 113.735. Where's my short? Don't tell me that it's gonna have trouble to refresh like yesterday. So that's for the first part trading session. Now the second part, afternoon, I will not be home, but look at the calendar. At 2:30 in Europe, we have inflation data, and the expectation, at least for inflation rates year over year, is that it's higher, as well as month over month. Yeah. So I would not be surprised that, and we have potentially rate cut next week. So if today's data on inflation does not support a rate cut, you might see price tumble and take out all those levels. Yeah, or 1 or 2 or 3, or it doesn't matter. But if that happens, then to me, that's a fantastic opportunity to position long, because it's very likely that the bottom is in for this movement. And if I'm wrong, but at least I have an invalidation very near. So the lower price gets today, if it does, the better it is to position long. Today, the sentiment, if you look at the sentiment on social media, the sentiment is shifting toward positive. A lot of people are looking for reason to position themselves, and they are also looking at the American, the US indexes. Everything is through the roof. I think S&P 500 made a new all-time high yesterday. Let me check. Yesterday made a new all-time high at, what was it? 6,564. I have it as a future contract, perpetual. Nasdaq failed. Dow Jones is like trying to push higher, so it would not take a lot of catalysts to have those ripping higher. Now, if this afternoon inflation data is not what the market is expecting, oh, by the way, my position was triggered. That's very good. So for half of a contract, I'm going to immediately put a stop loss. I don't think price will tank before the inflation data. I think we might have a lot of chop. Yeah, so perhaps this high here, together with this low, is our playground until inflation data. So we'll see. But I'm not adding to the position just yet, unless we have a pullback towards to retest once and for all the higher boundary of the range. If we have that, then I will short, because I'll be very close to my invalidation. Right now, the risk is $105 and the profit is 111. So let's see what happens. So yeah, 2 parts to the trading session. I think we chop until the data. So perhaps chop is going to happen within a range. That's usually what chop is. And if that's the case, then the message is buy this area and sell this one. Yeah. And inflation data, if we get something that does not align with the concept of a rate cut next week, then we may see price really tank on the market. And like I said, that would be for me a good opportunity to position long for a swing trade. Yeah. Not for a day trade, but for a swing trade. Now, if the data supports a rate cut for next week, I think it's pretty much in the cards. Yeah, that's perhaps what price action has been telling us since, that we're going to have a rate cut. Now, if the data comes in so bad that rate cut there is next week, but it's not the rate cut we're looking for, I think everyone is looking for 25 basis points. And if we get 50 basis points, that's really going to send a signal that something's really bad, something really stinks within the American economy. If the Fed cuts 50 basis point. 25 is fine. Yeah, gradually take it down 25 by a quarter at a time. But if you cut half a percent, that means really something is afoot and something smells bad with the US economy. And so perhaps market, at least on the as a reaction to this data, will not like that. Yeah, so we may see market US indices tank, perhaps gold, silver, and oil shoot up as a reaction, dollar down. But then tomorrow is Friday, and before the weekend, we may see, as what happens often, price reclaim the level prior to the announcement of the data. So essentially a knee-jerk reaction to the downside on worse than anticipated economic data, giving the opportunity to position for a continuation of the uptrend. That would be my play for this afternoon, but I will not be in front of the computer. So my short is still doing good. There's no volume. There is an attempted reversal candle happening, so let's keep an eye on it. All right, so this last 5-minute candle also ended a 10-minute candle, where if you look at the top left corner, it's clear that there is a rejection at attempting to make its way higher, at least for now. So I'm going to increase the position size by another quarter of a contract, so that will be a total of 3/4 of a contract. And I'll reduce my stop. I'll leave the stop loss where it is for the moment. As soon as this low here gets taken, then I will consider lowering my stop right over there. But for now, the position looks good. I'm still aiming for the mid-range. I may take a quarter of a contract, so a third of the position out as profit, and I will leave the rest perhaps for the lower boundary of the range. But that will of course depend on how active and what type of transaction I can see within the tape, and also the price action. But let's keep an eye on it. Well, it's been more than an hour, I think, since I posted the recording. Price is still looking to the downside, and price is now attempting to test patience, because it seems like this is happening. So remember, I never use ascending or descending trend line to enter or exit position. I just put them on the charts for visual help. I don't base a trade. I do not consider trading based on whether they get broken or not. Only horizontal lines I base trade on. Much more reliable. So those case, like if you look at it from an Elliott wave perspective, from the low here you have 1, 2, 3. So that's a 3 corrective move. Here you have 1, 2, 3. 3 corrective move to the downside. Another 1, 2, 3 to the upside as a corrective move. So that very much looks like a triangle. If it is one, so let's anticipate just to see. You have the start of the triangle. So you have A, B, C, D, E, and then down. So once this pattern is completed, if it's an Elliott wave triangle, price should go down, which is good for me because I'm short. If not, then we'll have to advise accordingly. But it's always good to recognize those patterns on the chart. Remember, strong opinion loosely held. Like what happened yesterday in the trading session, I started the day by trading short. I got stopped out, and I said if I'm stopped out, that means I'm wrong. That means the price action is going the other way. And then I entered long. Not right away. I waited a candle or two, and I looked at the tape just to see confirmation, but I flipped my jacket in the other direction. I did not stay glued to the idea of it has to go down. In that particular case, if it turns out that this is not an Elliott wave triangle and we're not going down, we go up, and I see that there is volume first, I'll get stopped out, or maybe I would have lowered my stop, I'll exit the position, but then I will have no problem to take the other side and enter long. Yeah, so let's keep an eye on the price action. All right, so it turns out that the triangle is not playing out, so this was not an Elliott wave triangle. Nonetheless, we are getting very close from the mid of the range, and I said that if we get to the mid of the range, I would exit either the entire position or a partial, depending on how the tape behaves. Right now we have 2 minutes to the close of this 5-minute candle, the 10-minute is in 7 minutes, and the 4-hour is in 2 hours and 46 minutes, so there is plenty of time for the 4-hour one. No need to worry about it. At the moment I can see that the volume on the 5-minute is picking up. Nothing yet significant, but it's increasing on the last 2 candles, so that's a good sign because I'm short. Lowering my stop loss above the high of these candles, so the loss incurred is 37 bucks. It's fine. Profit is 196 at the moment. So let's see how this one plays out. Let's keep watching. Okay, so let's see what's gonna happen in the next few minutes. Precisely 3 minutes and 20 seconds. That's the time it will take for this 5-minute candle to close. It just made a new low after a retest of the moving averages, an underside retest of the moving average. Some people would say also a retest of the ascending trend line that it broke. So it's all good if you're short. Profit is 252 at the moment. The risk is 37. I'm not changing anything to the stop because I still expect. Now, one thing that is getting me suspicious about the legitimacy of this move is the absence of volume. We should have a lot more volume volume on this last candle, especially that we broke the low of the previous candle, but we have the least volume we had in the last 5 bars. So what does that tell you? Well, that tells me there is nobody interested at those prices to go lower. That's my observation. And so that's perhaps a telltale sign that that's as low as we'll go for now. So I'm exiting the position. 187 booked for today. So let me add this to the journal. 187 profit. So I may be wrong. We may have price tank lower, in which case that's fine. I locked in some profit. I locked in $187. I could have made more. I could have locked in less. Could have been stopped out. It doesn't matter. Could have, would have, should have. Doesn't make anything happen. But I said earlier in the video that at 2:30 European time, there is inflation data for year over year and month over month. And I was speculating that price would be chop season in a range, perhaps the range that we have right now. It's very possible that price starts to stall. 11:30, that's 2 hours 30, 3 hours and 30 minutes. It's very possible that from now on, and it's going to be lunchtime in Europe, from now on price starts to stall its move until the release of the data this afternoon. Yeah. So let's keep an eye on it. I'll personally go for lunch now. I will release the video and I will start a new video after lunch when I'm back. Thanks a lot for watching. You take care.